the 14th, 1988. A very special day for this man. A very special day in the history of the Glenelg Football Club and also South Australian football. Peter Carey is a legend. He's made number 5 Guernsey a legendary Guernsey. Today he breaks the Australian record of league games, 447. A marvellous effort in the big crowd here at Glenelg Oval, in the vicinity of 12 to 15,000. Have all stood as one to applaud a marvellous achievement by a marvellous player.
Yes, I think that says it all, and welcome to 10's big replay. The budget today also says it all, 447, a marvellous achievement. Congratulations, Peter Carey, and they're certainly celebrating down at the Bay right now, I can tell you. Well, round 6 today, and a split round. It will be completed on Monday, the holiday Adelaide Cup Day, with a double header. But 3 games today: Glenelg Central District from the Bay Oval, South Norwood from Football Park, and also the 3rd game, North Adelaide and the Eagles. We'll give you the result of that one now. North Adelaide won it. Very close game in wet, wintry conditions. North Adelaide 8-9, 57, defeated the Eagles 8-6, 54. So there's no doubt that, that the Eagles have improved considerably. What we're going to do now is take you down to the Bay Oval, and it was a very good game and a great atmosphere, good crowd, and you just saw there the way it opened with Peter Carey running onto the ground. First quarter was all the Bulldogs. They kicked 4 goals. In fact, before Kim Hodgeman could put one on the scoreboard for the Tigers. We're going to pick it up at the start of the second quarter. At that stage, the Bulldogs leading by 17 points.
Start of the second quarter here at Glenelg Oval. The Bay's trailing by 17 points after a very interesting first quarter. Launder got his hand on it. Maynard booted it forward. Pryor, who left the ground late in the first quarter, back on it. Seabone took a good mark at centre-half back, puts it up forward. Winton can't mark that. The umpire's going to give him a free kick, though, for a hand on the shoulder. So Winton has it at left half-forward flank. He's got the breeze behind him, and I don't think he'll quite make the distance, so certainly drop it in the square. It's not a bad thump. Won't score a goal with it. The man who stays down, the better judgment, Scott Lee. Kimmy Hodgeman will have to come back. Scott Lee plays it on to Chaplin. Chaplin and Kim Hodgeman drove superbly in the first quarter. Chaplin, though, just kicked that ball out on the full, and it will come back to Snebickler.
Very good thinking football, that. Snebickler centres it to the half-forward line. Christie's in front over the top. Botka did well to thump it clear. Salisbury first there. His nemesis is there with him in Pryor. Drives up towards Hodgeman. Good solid football. Lee back in defence. Whips it out. Now a chance for Graham to clear. He runs it to Chaplin off the half-back line. Not a good handball, but finally it goes back from Thomas. Back to Chaplin into the half-forward line. Kick it one-handed. Glenelg there as well. Umpire says play on. Thomas puts it up now for McAdam. McAdam's got it. Elects to play on. Shoots for the woodwork. Puts it up underway. Bugger up. Big leap. Can't make it. And the ball goes over his fingers for a point.
There's no question. It wasn't a mark to Grenbold. Derek Kicker, their first purchase on that ball, even though the crowd was screaming a mark to David Grenbold, it certainly wasn't. And the point ended that little forage into the forward line. Oh, enormous missile launched by Ross Gibbs. Allen Street doesn't try to mark it, which amazes me. Pete, how do you feel about that one?
Well, the ball's pretty hard to get, Graham. I know that if it was ever within 5 metres of me, I'd try to get it. But Chaplin put it up. Ingerson couldn't mark it. Then he slipped over at the wrong time. Down goes Seabone. The umpire is not too happy about that. That was behind the play. Stringer's got the ball. Shoots it up towards centre half forward. Hodgman's in front. Can't mark it. Winton, very well rolled. He threw that one out. There is the umpire. Hodgeman belts it back. That's his second goal. Marvellous kick. A goal by Kim Hodgeman to bring up his second. The Bays are 2-3. The Bulldogs are 4-3 on 10 Sports Action.
A remarkable play today by Hodgeman in the forward line. He has been the Glenelg forward line, in my humble opinion. In the entire, 35 minutes of play we've had so far, he's had 9 kicks, kicked 2 goals, and has been a constant worry to Central District in that area. Certainly he is running around like an unregistered dog in day, is Kim Hodgeman in the forward line.
You're not wrong, David. Sorry, we'll make that Graham. Launder against Carey. Super gets it down. McDermott gets it back now to Stringer, in turn Grenbold. The Bay's starting to produce a bit more. Graham back in defence. Have to work hard for this one. Gets it back there now towards Butker. No, Pryor it was. Smith over the top. Quickly in goes Lally, and the umpire will have to come and pull it up again. Gee, Pryor took a real shirt front in that first quarter. It's a wonder it didn't put him out for a week, let alone just about 5 minutes that he's off the ground to bounce down on the outer side. Lally taps it cleverly back to Smith. To the half-forward line. I think he's marked that one. The umpire's got the feet. Seemed to be a half volley to me, but Van Dommel's got it. Gee, he's got a bit of blood coming out of the eye too as he puts it over towards centre half-forward, but it's well taken by Gibb.
Gives way up from the back pocket. That's his 4th kick now, and he puts that in front of Wayne Stringer. Stringer might centre it. No, he's going to go long. Hodgeman's back in the square. Across comes Butterick. Can't mark the ball. Kick off the ground by the Central District defence. That worked. Brilliant work, in fact, that it ends up with Van Dommel via Lally. Now Smith, reported in the first quarter. There might be a free kick out there to McAdam if he doesn't mark it. I think he earned about 3 before the ball got there. Gilbert McAdam, one of the star recruits of '88. A member of the brilliant McAdam family. Great smother by Scott Salisbury. Free kick wanted by Van Dommel, but not given. McDermott. Salisbury. Centre half forward. Brady judged it better than anybody else. Can he pick it up? He did, but he lost it. Now Maynard. Steve Bickler. Over the top. Here's a chance for Christie. Quick kick away, and he's out of bounds. No free kick given, and boy, oh boy, they got onto him very quickly.
Yeah, I reckon they could have kicked for goal earlier than that, Peter. I reckon they put one handball too many in. Pryor on the half-back line. Gets a break from Butker, but he's going further afield. Looks at Van Dommel. Just a check side of centre wing as he sends him into attack. That's the second time he's been smothered. You'd think he'd know by now. McDermott gets it, puts it on its way. Maynard at half forward and takes the easy moment. Twice Van Dommel has been smothered when attempting to either handball or kick into the forward line.
Unfortunately, the first time in, Gary Christie undid the good work by players upfield by kicking out of bounds on the full. Now, Peter Maynard, no worries the distance. His 9th kick for the game, and usually accuracy spot on too.
45 metres out, he heads towards the Brighton end. The umpire said that's home. No worries. Maynard boots his first. The Bay starting to march. 3-3 to 4-3 on 10 Sports Action.
A very productive player is Peter Maynard today so far, playing around the packs as the ruck rover. He has been in everything. And that was a clever mark. Brought about, as Ian Day said, by an interception of the hand pass that Van Dommel meant for his teammate. And the ball finished up in Peter Maynard's hands. And no worries, top goal. An old 3-3, play Central 4-3.
6.5 minutes, second quarter. Carey and Lounder, they've been on the ball all day. McDermott caught one right under the chin, so it's his free kick. Smith has thrown it too far. Well, he was reported in the first quarter, and he just made a silly error then. It's cost his team about 15 or 20 metres. 7th kick to McDermott. Butterick from behind. Off hands, Christie, and he's beaten it. Christie's got his first. Scores are level. The Bays are 4-3, so are the Dogs. And we're 7 minutes into the second quarter.
By Coach Neil Curley. I don't think Greg can argue that. He threw the ball back in a very undisciplined manner, which gave just McDermott another 15 metres to work on. The ball landed in the square, and Gary Christie got his first goal for the game after many attempts.
Yeah, good idea by Curley to let him cool off in the bunker. In my humble opinion, he was very badly done by in the first quarter, but you should keep your cool. McDermott throws it out. Stringer runs himself into trouble. Long handball out there from Salisbury. Valley high. Well, that is bad football. Gee, there's a few stupid things being done here now. That could have taken his head off. Lally, half-back flank, goes up towards the half-forward line. Seabohm can't. Grenvold back to Carey, intercepted by Gibbs. They've lost the footy now, kicking to the danger. You don't see it very often. And unless the umpires tighten up on this, we're going to have an all-out brawl.
You're right, Peter Carey's 3rd kick. Up towards centre wing. Butterick can't mark it. Maynard took his eyes off it. Salisbury wants a free kick and will get one. Simons wants it. He's put the hand up. It's put in his area. The mark's been taken. Simons will get a free kick for a push in the back.
It appeared to me that Tony Simons knew that free kick was on then. As Peter Marker said, he indicated to the umpire, "Mine up." And the umpire said, "Yes, it is."
Well, he'll kick a goal. I'd put money on him. Simons, right half forward flank. I'm glad I didn't put any on that. He's pushed it across to the left. A point only. The Bays are 4-4, Central District 4-3.
What do they say, Pete? Give a bloke a rap and he'll miss it every time.
He only opens his mouth to change his feet. Vodka returns the ball up towards Lounder. Carey there as well. Ground ball. Salisbury, no. Stringer in towards the pocket. Oh, that's dropping the ball. The umpire didn't see it that way. In the pocket is Stebekler. Out on the full. And the penalty free kick will go in the back pocket to Philip Graham.
Bays have been a little bit fortunate in the last 5 minutes. The umpiring seems to be that way inclined. But still, that can happen if players from the opposing side upset the men in white. I think that's happened. The big paw of Richard Lounder went up and grabbed that. He only needs one hand. Back towards centre wing. Kickett hasn't been in the game yet, but he is now. Mark that ball in front of Grenvold. He plays it on straight away to Lally. Lally was put down, but fairly according to the umpire, and a good mark to Thomas. Thomas at left half forward flank. The Bays kicked one goal, going to the north. Brilliantly done by Thomas over to Scott Lee. Scott Lee could be in trouble in a minute. Holding the ball, the crowd yell. Sheer optimism, I'd suggest. Now Lally can't do a thing with it. Ross Gibbs is holding the ball, so the umpire says. So there'll be a free kick to Roger Girdham at centre half forward. I think the umpires are confusing players, crowd, commentators, everybody.
Another central player dragged, Peter.
Dan Dommel. Well, he made a couple of errors early in this quarter. So he's being replaced by Smith. Smith has had a bit of a chat with the coach. He's straight back on. Girdham's got a chance. That's his first kick. Not a bad one. Right into the square. Big pack of players. No marks taken. Bubner. Oh, showing a lot of pace. He's going to centre it to Smith. Oh, well played, Bubner. Well played, Smith, too. That was good positioning.
Is that what you call materialising, Peter? He just came off the interchange bench and he happened to handle where the ball was and got a kick that no one thought would come to him.
He's in sensational form, Graham, and when you're in top form, you seem to know where the ball's going to go. Seventh kick, got too close to the man on the mark. Mandemaker can't mark it. West dives on the ball. They want a free kick down there. It's pushed through for a point, though. Scores a level again. 4-4 each at the 11.5 minute mark.
If I might offer a comment, Pete, I was very pleased to see Glenelg not rush a point then, not just push it through the unprotected goal just to save the other side kicking a goal. Obviously, they've been told by Graham Corns, in a situation like that, try and save the point.
Gibbs to Salisbury is good football. Off the half-back line. The lead of Stringer. Things there, Seabone as well. He's got a chance to boot long. They ought to with the breeze behind them. It's starting to gust a bit more now. Kick 5 to Seabone. Beautifully put Maynard. Can't quite get there. Brady in defence. With him is the Bickler. Brady against the Bickler. Well shepherded, however, by Pryor. Took care of the Bickler. Must have been close to the back, but the umpire ruled out of play.
Brady's doing well at centre half back on Schneebickler. Up goes Lounder. Through goes Chaplin. He wants a free kick and gets one. That's all you got to do, boys. Put your hand up and you'll get one here at the moment. Chaplin clears the ball. Grenvold, with good judgment, goes back. Ingerson comes across. It's pushed over the line. Another throw in between centre wing and left half forward flank for the Dogs.
A tense game. The umbrella's up again. Players just looking around the locks as though there is a bit of rain out there as well. Lounder gets tunnelled by Carey, and the free kick will go the way of the F-less fish, and he'll get it out on the half-forward left flank. Only his second kick, he puts it up for grabs at full forward. Mandemaker's in there somewhere, can't bring it down. Carey, West, taken away, however, there by Duthie. McAdam, give away the handball, lad. He doesn't want to, hooks around the corner. Back there is McDermott. Can't get the kick away. Oh, I don't know whether it's a goal or not. Mandemaker! Oh, what a fluke goal! Why didn't they concede Graham Campbell? Mandemaker boots his second and the Dogs hit the front. 5-4 to 4-4 on 10 Sports Action.
Gee, all credit to the big fella too, because he's a very mobile, coordinated big man. Lounder went for the thump, didn't quite get onto it. Now kick it. Whoop, he put Simons away fairly. Stringer went for the handball and ducked the head. There's a free kick which will go to Wayne Stringer. I think they're overplaying things a bit at the moment, the players. I think they're all a bit frightened that they're going to get whacked at the moment. McDermott, he's taken the mark on the outer side of the ground, attack side of centre wing. Handballs it over to Alan Stringer. It's caught with nowhere to go. That's holding the ball, but the umpire says play on. Perhaps he did get a hand to it, pushed it out. Peter Carey to Marshall. Haven't seen a lot of him. No mark taken in the forward pocket. Brady wants a free kick, but won't get it.
You'll find, Peter, every time they call for a cab, Craig Brady did it then. He held the player and put his hand up in the air. That's when you won't get the free kick for the player supposedly kicking the ball trapped beneath him.
The bounce in the left full forward pocket. The Bay's in attack. Carey comes out with a foot. He can't get the kick away. McDermott shoots for goal. Late goal, Chris McDermott. His first ties up the ball game at Brighton Road. 5-4 both teams.
Well, gee, aren't goals easy to get sometimes? They battle and push and shove for 5 and 10 minutes at a time and nothing eventuates. And there's just McDermott, picks up a loose ball virtually, had a general shot in the towards goals and floated through. So easy, and yet so hard.
Well, Bubner's off the ground now. He was in the forward pocket for a quarter and a half, and Gurdon has gone to the forward pocket now. So Bubner kicked a goal early in the game, but gee, in these conditions and in this quarter, when the breeze is not going your way, they haven't got much of a chance. Salisbury a bit lucky then. Christie got it from Hodgeman. The ball goes forward, putting his hand up is Botka. Off hands a point. The Bays are in front, 5-5. The Dogs are 5-4 with 15 minutes into the second quarter.
You wonder why Gary Christie never kicked that ball a bit more accuracy there. He was all unattended, but still just incomprehensibly missed the shot for goal.
Botka to Thomas. He's in the back pocket. Back to Lee. Dangerous concession if it's not spot on. Out wide is McAdam, also there is Graham. Simon's in the action as well. He's quite happy to tow it over the line. As you can see, the rain starting to come down. How dare the good Lord spoil a day for Super Carey by letting it rain.
1 point in it. The Bays are in front by that margin. Tap down to Hodgeman was brilliant. Now Alan Stringer. So Alan Stringer will take a free kick. And Alan, I think you can assume after that you are possibly a marked man. But I think he was expecting it before it happened. But he's given plenty in his time, and he's also taken plenty, so I'm sure that's not going to upset him.
Well, you could say even today, Pete, he's been vigorous in his approach to the game.
Yes, he has. He put Pryor away earlier, but fairly. In front, taking the mark, Winton. Well, Alan Stringer's down on his haunches. I don't know that he's too well. Perhaps that one hurt him a bit more than we thought. So Winton has it. Again, I think he may be a touch too far out to score. That ball has probably got a little bit heavier because of the rain. Means he gets very close to the man on the mark. What about after that? He's kicked the goal! Winton has put it through. His first. The Bays are 6-5. The Dogs are 5-4 now on 10 Sports Action.
Welcome back to 10's Big Replay. We're going to stick with the game at the Bay. In the third quarter, a very dull, torrid affair. It was raining. The Bays scored 2 goals during that quarter. Central District only 1 goal. We're going to roll tape again at the 12-minute mark of the last quarter. The Bays at that point leading by 14 points.
Carey against Lounder, line ball. Chaplin in, can't get it out. Marshall tried to get it only. He's going to get a free kick for hanging on. Centre field to put the Bays into attack. They've got a 22-point, no correction, they've got a 14-point margin, which is pretty good. Maynard into the open, loose checking. Thomas is not altogether happy with the treatment he got then. Maynard tries to screw in a long one, that's gone off the side of his boot into the pocket. Botka can't, and the ball goes out of play, full forward right pocket. 9-8 to 7-6, the Bays by 14 points.
It certainly was the right kick, but it didn't swing as Peter Maynard would have hoped. And just went over the boundary line again for the umpteenth time in this game today. Boundary thrown. John Steve Bickler caught in that position of rucking again. Doesn't suit him. Knocks the ball to the ground though. On this occasion, Van Dommel off the ground. In again go the players. But Greg Smith gets it out to William Hearn. Back to Smith. Caught in his left foot. Handballs across. Finds Chaplin. Caught in his left foot, which will suit him. Hooks it back. Looking for kick it. Oh, yes, the man takes a marvellous mark. He can mark a ball, this boy, I'll tell you. Even though I said before he prefers dry weather, who doesn't? Coming up for his 11th kick. He's going back a bit now to give him a chance to clear the decks, as they say. Good, healthy kick of the ball. Duthie from behind, Mandemaker in front. Ends up in Lully's hands. A floppy sort of a punt kick. It bounces. To the ground goes Ingerson. Lully picks up. Dispossessed by Duthie. Duthie's in there again, trying to grab the ball at ground level. Not able to do so with too many hands around. Give up the ball to the umpire once again for a boundary. A bounce up, a little bit of throw up. Throw up.
Roundhouse right, Botka well done. Goes in towards the forward division. Brady back in defence. Throws it out. A chance for Pryor to clear. The Dogs bound clear. Goes in short. Smith centre field. Looks for a running player. One out wide. Thomas is there. He can bolt. Going to get run down. No, Simons can't catch him. Puts it up now. In goes Buck. Oh, that's a blatant push in the back. A shocking attack on the ball. And the penalty free kick has to go to Maynard at centre half back.
Tricky stuff by Maynard coming across goal, but it's paid off because Ross Gibbs is in the vanguard. Gibbs chips across. Finds Grenvold, unopposed. Derek Kickett running the mark. Long kick by Grenvold. Looking for Steve Beckler. Behind is Brady. At the ball is Duke Chickwooden, the folk hero. Gets it across to McDermott. A floppy sort of a kick again. And he finds Winton. Oh, boy. Well, there's the luck of the Irish there. Well, McDermott is hugging Chickwooden, but gee whiz, nothing in that kick by McDermott. It wasn't meant for Jeff Winton, might I add. But nonetheless, this is the way football is played. You make something out of nothing at times. And Jeff Winton has had a luxury role to some extent today, playing in a forward pocket. He's now nominally full forward. It's only his 4th kick for the game. And he's going to make a certainty of this, I would add. I would think. Comes in, gives himself plenty of room, which I like. Hangs it up in the air, through the middle. No doubt about that. That's Jeff Winton's 2nd goal. And his club's 10th. I was obscured then from the scoreboard. 10 goals, 868 to Central 7-6, 48. That's a difference of 20 points. And Glenelg at this stage soon to have a clamp on the game. And Jeff Winton kicks a much-needed goal, in my opinion.
Yes, Graham, they played the better football most of the afternoon. The Dogs' attack has been impotent, and apart from Mandemaker, there's hardly anyone who's getting a kick. I notice now that Curley's got him out at centre half forward. He's probably been there for the whole quarter, but they need to lift from here. The Bays look like they're going to be too good. Curley's record is going to remain intact. He's never coached here as a visiting coach, not a winning team. McAdam through, has to throw it away. Here's a chance, gives it away to Smith, drives in towards Mandemaker, coming to meet at Ingerson. Lally behind the pack, has to get it out, gets it out towards Mandemaker. He didn't have the footy, the umpire said holding on. Oh! Well, technically, Graham, I suppose he's right.
Well, you called it, Ian. He never had the footy. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
But he was
in possession.
Well, that's right. He was hovering over it. Yeah. I guess in instances like that, the umpire must make a snap decision. Is he in possession, or is he just in and around about the ball?
Well, it's going to keep the Dogs intact. 8th kick Mandemaker. He's booted a couple. Hasn't been a big day for full forwards, understandably so. Towards the... Oh! Still hasn't been a big day for full forwards. And the Bay fans like that one. Hooked offline for a point. And they move on now to 7-7 to 10-8.
I think the Bay fans might argue justice was done, Peter, but I think the free kick was there, Ian, sorry. I think the free kick, as you say, technically was there. The man was held. Now, it's a matter of deeming whether or not having the ball at his feet means he's in possession. Ross Gibbs taking the kick off. He launches not quite one of his greatest kicks, and Launder doesn't try to mark it, which always dumbfounds me, that one. When a man is by himself, doesn't try to mark the ball. Chris McDermott feeds it out. Maynard. Across to Donovan on the ground this quarter. Trying to find Hodgeman. Knocked away by Van Dommel, who seems to be tracking Hodgeman around down there. Why, I don't know. Obviously, he's been given the role as a backline player this quarter. The other move was, as I was trying to get out of my lips before, there's Donovan's on the field in place of Wayne Stringer. We played rather a serviceable game in this match today. Throw in. Brady. Maybe it was Stevie that got it down. picked up by Scott Lee. Finds Rowe. Rowe launches it off back to Brady. Brady just gets his foot to the ball and that's all. Chick Winton tackle pretty high. Up goes Mandemaker. Still there, Mandemaker. In comes Phil Graham. Out goes Phil Graham. Off the ground by Greg Smith, attempted. Grenville. Alan Stringer's thereabouts. So is Greg Smith. Over Maynard. Very productive player today. Finds Salisbury, who goes deep, looking for Winton. And the ball is knocked away quickly to kick it. He handballs to nobody. Off the ground by Botka. Pryor picks up. Oh, it's a submarine kick. Finds Rowe, but oh, gee. It's all in together over that far side of the ground. The umpire won't call for it. Picked up by William Hearn. Finds Lee coming up the ground again. I don't think he's playing that back pocket role this quarter. Something's happened. I think he's ruck roving. In goes Ross Gibbs. Yes, almost certainly. Lee has gone to a half-ball flank and ruck roving, and Van Dommel has taken up Lee's customary role in the back pocket.
Yes, I think Curley's made a few moves now. He's not going to win with a combination as it was. He's down by 19 points, and we are approaching the 20-minute mark. It's almost too hard to see the clock. Out there is McDermott, hooks around the corner, back towards centre wing. Hodgeman chanced his arm, gets it out now quickly at Stringer. Stringer puts it out wide. That's good football. The Bay's a chance to run through Maynard. Puts it on its way. Spickler can't quite. Butterick in there. He can't get it out either. Tackling the ball well is Zickadik. In there is Brady. Still they can't pick that slippery bit of leather up. In he goes. Butterick now. Spickler. Spickler around the corner. In towards full forward. Winton there. Off the fingers. Butterick can't quite get it. Whips it out. Kick it playing in defence. There's a chance. Donovan, if he can pick it up. Kick it can. Puts it back now. Making a metre to get to it is Greg Smith. As we said, may have been reported in the first quarter. He's got Thomas clear. He's got a chance to run. McAdam will get there first. Off they go. The Dogs bound through the centre line. In comes, oh, that's a blatant push in the back. And plus 15 metres. Stringer can't understand why. He better watch the replay.
No question that time, Alan Stringer. He must get penalised for that. The free kick was paid and he kicked it away. Jamie Thomas launches the drop punt into the forward line, looking for a man to make, I would imagine, but he can't quite get there. He's under the pack. Seabone, no, it's Duthie. Looking for Simons over the top. Clever play, you might say. Chick Winton. Oh, well done, Chick Winton. He touches the ball on the ground. He might try it again, I think. Yes, he does. He's going into goal. He might have a shot now. He hangs it up. Looking for, not quite finding Steve Bickler. Brady let the ball go. Oh, Hodgeman! Oh, it's a marvellous shot for goal! It's a goal! A great goal by Kim Hodgeman. His fourth for the game. Oh boy, what a player. This man kicks it from anywhere. 4 goals to Hodgeman, and the players around him are going berserk. That gives Glenelg almost unassailable lead, I would say, Ian Day. 11 goals, 8, 74, plays 7-7, 49. What's that, 25 points last time I went to school.
Graham, that's the ball game, no question about that. But I think the Bays had it won a long time before then. They won it in the third quarter when the Dogs, kicking with any breeze there was, could only manage to kick a goal. Simply not good enough. Now they've got a lot of confidence. Stringer sends him into attack up to Maynard. Maynard going from strength to strength. Peter Maynard, who's had a big day, including an argument with his coach at quarter time. If our monitor was correct, something that he did in the first quarter certainly didn't please Studley, and they were having a real go at quarter time. However, he must be happy with him now because it's his 25th kick. Maynard from 35 metres out. Wind assisted.
Might I say
almost kicking with a tide as well.
Might I say he'll kick this in?
You said that before, Graham, and he missed. You put the marker on him, and he's got it this time. What a tip from his father-in-law. Maynard boots his first, and his second correction, and that most certainly is game, set, match.
Yes, well, I guess
It's over about that. The Bays went on to win it 12-10 to Central District 7-7, so it was a 33-point victory to the Bays. A very tight game for 3.5 quarters, but they just went away with it in the final quarter. Hodgeman was magnificent with 4 goals. Maynard loves kicking goals. He got 2. McDermott and Winton also picked up 2 each. And young Anthony Ingerson played very well. He's got a good mature head on his shoulders. He booted 3 goals, and Rudy Mandemaker, certainly not his conditions, he booted 2. Well, a big crowd at the Bay Oval today, it really was. You had to park a long way away and walk a long way to get there, but it was certainly worth the march. And it was all for Peter Carey, of course, the magnificent achievement of Australia's longest-serving footballer. After the game, Graham Campbell spoke with him.
447 games today, Pete, and the boys didn't let you down. Big performance.
Oh, they were fantastic. You know, we were in trouble early in the first quarter, but gee, after that I thought we controlled the game. We had numbers around the ball the whole day, and you know, I was fantastically proud of every one of them.
Amazingly, Pete, they kicked the first 4 goals. Then from the probably 10-minute mark of the first quarter on, you kicked 12 goals to their 3.
Yeah, I really think we controlled the whole game after quarter time. We just didn't let them get back in it at all, and just, you know, powered away to a pretty comfortable win in the finish.
Richard Launder rucked all day. You had a bit of a rest in the second quarter. Then Graham Corns finally decided you better ruck the rest of the day. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did it most of last year, but Gary Christie's been doing a good job when he's had a chance on the ball this year, so I try and give him as much work as I can, and you know, Cornsey made the decision because of the wet conditions, I guess. We had probably one too many big men up forward, so, you know, Gary sat on the fence in the second half, and you know, I enjoyed the work in the second half.
And on your big day, you lost the toss, I imagine.
Yeah, I certainly did. No, I just certainly wouldn't have kicked into that wind. No. It was pretty strong early, and we knew the rain had come, so it was a good toss to win for Centrals, but you know, they didn't really take advantage of it.
The obvious question, Pete, are you aiming at 500 now?
I'm aiming at next week at the moment, mate.
Pete, great effort, well done, and may you play many more games at the base.
Thanks very much, Graham.
Let's hope he does aim at 500. By the way, he was holding a can of Coke there, Peter Carey. He works for the Coke company. Gee, that could be the secret to his longevity. I might start drinking it myself. Injuries. We got a report from Graham Campbell that both team managers reported just general soreness. Now, there's no doubt there was just general soreness, but gee, when Roger Girdham came off the ground, he looked concussed to me. Pryor was taken off the ground in the second quarter. I would say he'd be suffering mild concussion as well. So I think that those two players, just a little bit more than general soreness. Reports, Greg Smith, he was reported by 2 umpires for striking a Glenelg player. We had a good view of the incident in the grandstand. We all felt that he was harshly dealt with. I'll be very interested to see how that pans out on Tuesday night. Greg Smith in very good form this year, a little bit unlucky. We'll be back after the break with the game from Football Park, Norwood.
Hello everyone, welcome to our late edition of League Football Action. Do stay with us for the next hour and a half or so. We've got plenty of action for you, as well as interviews, and we'll have a special feature on Peter Carey. Joining us in the studio once again, Kim Dillon. What a great performance, Kim.
Tremendous. He really does epitomise the word champion, and it's just a remarkable achievement to be around since 1971, and plus being a big man, having people jumping into you for, 17 years. It's incredible.
He was a bit quiet early, wasn't it? But then he got himself into the game.
First half, he was clearly outpointed by big Richard Launder, but like a true champion in that third quarter, when the chips were down, when they needed to establish a break, Peter Carey was at the forefront, and that's why he survived for such a long period in league football.
3 games played today here in South Australia. Let's have a look at the results of those 3 crucial matches. Norwood defeated South Adelaide. They were in front pretty well throughout the whole of the day, and they had no problems whatsoever disposing of South, who have only won the 1 game so far. Glenelg defeated Central District. They ran right away, Kim, in the last quarter, didn't they?
They certainly did. Central got off to a great start, but as we mentioned on a number of occasions, Glenelg have got so many big guns and so much firing power around the ground.
And also the other match played today was from the Theberton Oval, and I know you tipped Torrens on the 5 AM footy show this morning, but gee, they weren't all that far away, were they?
Well, they led all day, and by the reports and the information I received back, perhaps they went a little bit too defensive in the last section of the third quarter and the last term. They tried to protect the lead instead of increase it, and perhaps that may be just the reason why they didn't win.
We'll talk more about those 3 games a little later in the program, but getting back to Peter Carey, 447 league games. It's a new Australian record, a wonderful performance by Peter Carey. And as I mentioned in the earlier program, how lucky are we that we didn't lose Peter Carey to the VFL. Earlier this week, I spoke to Peter Carey. Well, Peter, first of all, congratulations on the record coming up on Saturday. How do you feel about it?
Well, I guess, Mark, I've approached it in a pretty low-key fashion. I certainly didn't set out to break any records when I first started playing, and I feel that I'm breaking this record only because I've played longer than anyone else. And while I guess it's nice to have a record, and I'll probably look back on it in future years, you know, the first and foremost thing in my mind at the moment is to win on Saturday. It's a critical game for Glenelg. We're playing the top team, and just want to have a good win and maybe have a few drinks after the game.
When you played 400 for Glenelg, you also played that down. How does this compare, though?
I don't think anything will ever be able to match the feeling that I had on the 400th game. It was an incredible day, just being able to go out in the ground with my two sons and run around Glenelg Oval with the whole crowd clapping and cheering. It was an incredible feeling, and I don't think I'll be able to match that feeling again.
400 club games for the Bay, 17 state games for South Australia. A magnificent ambassador for the game.
I've never ever played for records. I've just kept playing because I enjoy it, and I guess the closer I get to retiring, the harder it is to make the decision, because it's a game I don't want to give away. I want to keep playing as long as I can make a contribution to Glenelg. The only reason I play is because I still love it and still get a tremendous kick out of it, particularly, I guess, in the last few years being captain of the club and, you know, watching some of the young players develop. And, you know, we've had some tremendous players in the last 5 or 6 years to see them achieve things that they set out to do. And, you know, look at Stephen Kernahan with the success that he's had, and Tony Hall this year, and David Kernahan, and the guys that have gone to the VFL and done well, and the players that have stayed at Glenelg, like the Chris McDermott, to watch him develop from a, you know, a young skinny lad to, you know, the great player he is today. You know, there's been some great times. I sort of start off with 73, which was a big moment. It was the first premiership at Glenelg in 40 years, and it was a tremendous thrill to be a part of that.
Carey's backed it again. Carey has done exactly as he pleases at centre-half forward. Pulls this game out of the fire. Remember this.
But I guess after all the disappointments from 73 right through to 85, playing in 5 or 6 grand finals and losing them, I guess I appreciated winning the 1985 grand final and 1986 grand final more after experiencing those highs and lows. Actually, it was an unbelievable game, and you know, I still watch it on video every now and again, and it probably will rate as one of the best grand finals ever played. And, you know, that's coming from, you know, experts such as Neil Curley, that's seen a lot more grand finals than I have. And it was a game in the last quarter of fluctuating fortunes. You know, at one stage with 5 minutes to go, it seemed like that we wouldn't win it, and it was just incredible that you know, Graham Corns took that mark and kicked the goal to put us in front, and suddenly, you know, we were looking like we were in a position to win it again. So from one moment, sort of having a look around the field when North hit the front and seeing Glenelg players hanging their heads and just wondering where they'd find that final effort, and then Cornsey to put us in front, it was an incredible moment, and it's one that I'll never forget, and it's a game I'll never forget.
Who's the best coach you've been under?
I'd have to say Neil Curley. I guess because I was 17 when I first started playing under Neil, and I guess you're at a pretty impressionable age at 17, and he was a tremendous influence on me. He was a straight down the line sort of coach. You know, he would never ask you to do anything that he couldn't do himself, and you know, I had a tremendous amount of respect for Neil.
Well, Peter's one of the all-time greats. You know, his record stands for itself. It's a fantastic record. To think that the man's been able to keep coming up year after year and beating all comers.
What was he like to coach, Neil?
Oh, Peter was very good to coach. He's such a likeable guy, and he'll just have a crack at any job you give him to do. He's a coach's dream. He's not the most enthusiastic player on the track, because Peter's just relies on his stamina and his big heart and his beautiful football brain to do the job he has to do every week.
What's the most important thing in Peter Carey's life at the moment?
Oh, I guess I'd have to say my family always comes first and foremost. You know, and then it's pretty hard to fit work and football in all at once, and but I always try and put my family first. It is difficult at times with the commitments I have got with work and with football, but I think obviously I still enjoy footy, so that's still very high on my priorities, and I want to still make as much time as I can for my football.
Why has Peter Carey been so enthusiastic over the last 18 years? Is there one particular reason for it?
Well, obviously he loves the game of football, but even more obviously he's been associated with a very good club in Glenelg, and you know, they've been successful over such a long period of time, and I can assure you if he was playing for a side that was getting walloped every week, he wouldn't still have that same enthusiasm. Well,
he's played, I think it's from memory, he's played in 9 grand finals and 3 winning grand finals. That's not a bad record over 18 years, is it? Well, by the same token, it's a great record. By the same token, the win-loss ratio is probably not that flash. 3 wins out of 9 finals you've competed in. But, gee, a lot of players don't even get to play in a grand final, so I think he'd be wrapped with his career when he eventually does retire and look back at it. Thanks, Kim. OK, now to the match at the Bay, the big clash between Glenelg and Central District. Important for 2 reasons. Obviously, Peter Carey's record, and also, too, it was a situation whoever won the match would go to the top of the league ladder. We're going to join the match at the start of the first quarter. Joining me in commentary, Kim Dillon and John Robinson. There's a siren to signal the start of this big clash here at the Bay Oval between Glenelg and Central District. We can tell you that it's overcast and surely there must be rain quite soon as Smith gets the first kick of the match for Central District, puts the Bulldogs into attack up toward right half forward. Chance for Lally. Picked up now by Ingerson, who's playing at centre half forward on Seabohm out toward full forward, and there's a marker that's been paid. The crowd don't like it. Mandemaker has it, and an opportunity to put Central District's first goal on the board. McGrudy Mandemaker, number 33 for Central District, and he is kicking virtually with the breeze at his back. And what would it be worth, John?
Well, I don't think it's worth too much at all, Mark. It's going fairly well across the ground, but certainly favouring this end.
There's Big Rudy's kick. It's on its way. He doesn't miss too many of those, and that's straight through the middle. So Central District on the board immediately. Their 1 goal, Glenelg yet to score.
Well, Rudy Mandemaker, a big danger, of course, in this Central District lineup. Young Ingerson starting off at centre half forward. We see him get his first touch there in that movement forward, which finished with Mandemaker. In fact, the kick came from Ingerson. So that's good to see the young fella get into the game straight away.
And Graham Corns has made a quick move already. Duthie's coming onto the ground after starting on the interchange bench with Chig Whitten. He's going back onto Bubner, and Donovan has left the ground. So Neil Curley not lining up as named. Bubner named in a back pocket, and in fact has started in that forward pocket. So they've got a 2-pronged attack, and it was Big Richard Lounder who won that tap and sent him into attack, and he won that one as well. Working his way through there is Chaplin. Couldn't take the ball. In there hard is Maynard. He's won himself a free kick. Umpires officiating today are Michael Abbott and David Trenbar. And by the same token, Graham Corns has played Ducks and Drakes, as Maynard was named on the bench and he started off as first ruck rover. The ball comes down towards Snabikla. Once again, that's umpire Michael Abbott. And he'll bounce about 35 metres out from the Glenelg goal. Good crowd here at the Bay. Well in excess of 10,000 people. And of course, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Peter Carey is playing his Australian record-breaking game of 447 matches. As Gilbert McAdam, an injury cloud through the week, drops it out to young Ingerson, and he picks up his second kick. Left foot's a nice-looking one out, looking for Mandemaker, but James West did well then to make front position.
Yes, well done by West. He's well aware of Mandemaker, the big danger, which he's shown already. But young Ingerson, a couple of good touches already at centre-half forward for Central.
Taking plenty of time is West, and eventually he goes towards Seabohm. The kick not all that well directed. Rowe chips in and takes the mark in front of his face. At right half forward is Rowe. Have to put them deep into attack again. Bubner in front of the pack, or more to the side. Here's a chance for Mandemaker, showing a surprising amount of pace. Gibbs is in there as well, so is Donovan. And it's out of bounds. That was Grenvold, in fact. Glenelg yet to score. Central 1 goal. Boundary throw-in taking place in the right forward pocket. Bubner got the tap. Plenty of hard work, and eventually McDermott comes out with the ball. Well, he made a rare error there, McDermott. He went to bounce it. It didn't bounce all that well. Picked up by Kickett. Swings it round his body, looking for Bubner. Couldn't find him. Duthie was in front of him. No one able to pick up cleanly. Grenvold eventually does. McDermott gives it across to Gibbs, and Glenelg clear.
Gibbs kick has nearly been taken by Lounder. He couldn't control that, the big fella. Now he's working on the ground. So too is Greg Smith. In there again is Lounder and has won himself a free kick. So the big man working hard on the ground. Feeds off back towards Pryor. In fact, it was Chaplin. McAdam out there looking for a free kick. It was Maynard. Marshall, quick handball. Maynard again. Now the Tigers into attack. Out there looking for Schneebichler. From behind was Brady playing centre-half back. Oh, put that ball on the ground was Sikadic. That surely, in my opinion, would have been holding the ball, but the free kick's gone the other way.
I agree with you, Kim. Yes, the tackle was applied. He just seemed to put the ball on the ground and took the tackle. And
well, the umpire's changed his mind now, John, and the free kick's going back to Kim Hodgeman. So just goes to say us commentators are right now and again.
I was just going to say, it's nice, isn't it?
Not always. Hodgeman drops one in short, looking for Butterick. Couldn't take the mark. The ball, in fact, fell short. The handball back towards Graham. Sikadic in there again. McAdam. Tell you, this fella can use a football. Gets it out towards Trevor Rowe. Flanked by Chaplin. Instead, opted for Lounder. Back towards Rowe. The Bulldogs are running, and he's found Kickett. And young David Grenvold will have his hands full today with this chap. Plays on quickly. Throws it on his boot. It was an awkward kick, but Smith was left unattended. In turn, the ball will go out the way to Jamie Thomas. Should be a great flash. Thomas and Stringer. High kick. And that's courageous work by Greg Smith.
Well, what a great season Greg Smith is having so far. And as you said, Kim, certainly courageous. Eyes only for the ball. Body was coming at him hard, but kept his eyes right on it. That's the sort of thing that Neil Curley has instilled into this side this year.
Goes for a short pass. It was a beautiful pass too, and right on the chest of Bubner. Beautiful pass, that. Peter Bubner, something like 35 metres out on a slight angle. Slight breeze at his back. 1 goal, Central District. Glenelg yet to score. And Peter Bubner is well within kicking distance and an opportunity to put Central District 2nd goal on the board. The kick is on its way. It looks as straight as a die from where we sit. And it's a goal. 2 goals, Central District. Glenelg yet to score.
Well, wonderful work once again by Central District. Great courage shown by Greg Smith initially, also Peter Bubner. And that pass from Smith was an absolute gem. And he's having a wonderful season so far, and it's a big plus for Central District. Player that came to their club last year with not a big with a big reputation, certainly didn't produce, but this year he's certainly putting it all together, and by his own admission, a much better player. But Central District, I'm impressed by their ability to fight up forward.
Well, if we can, after the next goal scored, I'd like to see if we can pick up the 2 wingmen as they go back to the centre backs, because this bounce is certainly ducks and drakes going on. McAdam's following around Simons, and Rowe's got the job on Marshall, or vice versa, but they're both on the same side of the ground as Simons gets it, in fact, over to Stringer. In turn, he could have used Marshall. Drives in long. Christie was there, picked up beautifully by Winton. Over towards Hodgeman. He's good at kicking snapshot goals, but the distance wasn't there. The mark, a timely one taken by Brady.
So Brady about to clear for Central District. And there was a timely mark. He was right on the line. Hodgeman's kick just not long enough. Brady's kick is a long one, though, out toward Lounder and Carey. Off hands it comes. There's a chance for Lounder as he gets a handball. It was a wild one. Hodgeman with a wild knock-on, picked up by Stringer, given across to McDermott. Here's danger now. The Bay's going deep into attack. McDermott has a pot shot at goal. It'll be just short. Players set themselves, and has the mark been paid? No, it hasn't. Simons is in there working hard. He can't extricate that ball. And in fact, it was Schneebichler. And there'll be a ball up in the left forward pocket for Glenelg. Bocker won it down to Brady, who clears now to the outer side of the ground. Big Richard Lounder is lumbering after it. Big Central District ruckman. Ooh, came in collision there with Salisbury. Lally, the handball was wild. Salisbury in there working hard, so is Grenvold. Kickett gets a quick handball out. And a chance here for Central District to build something as Pryor gets a wild handball, but eventually it's taken away by Van Dommel out towards centre-half forward. Well, Gibbs wasn't sure whether to take that or not. He wasn't sure whether a player was coming at him or not. He's working in there hard now. So too is Rudy Mandemaker, and he's been paid a free kick.
Well, I mentioned just a while ago, Mark, I've been impressed with the way the Central District forwards have been working once the ball gets down there. They're not prepared to let the ball go. They're fighting hard for everything. And that's the difference in the game here at the moment, I feel. Central have got the 2 goals on the board because they've worked harder with the opportunities they've had, and they have had most of the attack.
Mandemaker loves kicking goals from about this distance. There's his kick. But as I speak, as soon as you open your mouth, he's kicked out of bounds on the full. The crowd love it. Central District, 2 goals straight. Glenelg yet to score.
Mandemaker already with a goal on the board from a mark, which was perhaps questionable. Oh, big spoil away from Lounder, picked up by Seabone. Alan Stringer, strong body work against Rowe, picked up by Grenvold. That kick smothered. Rowe in there again. Lounder working hard. Carey yet to have a touch. Marshall on the left boot. Out towards Chaplin. Drives in long. 3-on-1. Mandemaker doing the crumbing. Feeds it out towards Chaplin again. Over the top is Marshall. Farms out a handball. Now Stringer's out there. He has the support of McDermott and uses that player. Over the top. I tell you what, the Tigers are being forced to work very hard in the opening minutes of this game. Indecision, but Butterick picks it up nicely. Sweeps around onto the right boot. The kick is high. Out there is Brady, and he takes a very good mark. So that's 2 timely marks by Craig Brady in this first term.
From that back pocket, Craig Brady goes to a more central location. Pryor, good strong mark in front, plays it off quickly. Just can't get that ball clear. Eventually it does come clear. Chaplin reads it beautifully. Handball was wild. It was meant for Smith. Part of the crowd call holding the ball as Hodgeman gets away with it. Now Brady a chance. Very scrappy in the early part. Lee is pushed over. Sikadic working hard. So is Butterick. Now a chance for Winton. Short but misdirected, and Graham will clear for Central District. Goes out wide to Brady. Already had 3 or 4 touches, and very important touches too. Looking for Ingerson. Oh, from the back. Kick it almost a mark. Ball running free. In there is McAdam. Now a chance for Seabone to clear, and he does pretty well too as he gets that on Gibbs' chest.
And there was some good, strong, fair body work by Wayne Stringer that allowed Gibbs to get that ball, and there's 15 metres against Chaplin. Now there'll be another 15 if he doesn't move out the way, but Gibbs disposed of him nicely, then drops it over towards Salisbury. Wayne Stringer screaming down the middle of the ground. Salisbury went to ground. It should go to Hodgeman. In turn, possibly Wayne Stringer. Hodgeman decides to drive long. Back there is Christie. Couldn't get a hand to the ball, and eventually will have a throw in that left forward pocket.
We've certainly got plenty of pressure here in this first quarter, Kim and Mark, and I think it's the side that's going to settle down, is going to get the early break. So far, Central made the better of their opportunities, and Glenelg just struggling a bit.
Actually, it's been enjoyable football. The ball going up and down the ground very quickly. The long handball by Sikadic over towards Pryor. He made 5 metres for his side there and also gained a little bit of safety. We've had 11 minutes. Central 2 goals. Glenelg yet to score. But the Dogs are kicking with about a 2 to 3 goal breeze, possibly. Well, let's make that 2. It's died a little bit, and it is going across the ground slightly. Carey gets his first touch in the record-breaking game and drives it forward. Schnabikla was up high. The clearing kick by Lally over the head of Ingerson and Seabone and Grenvold. Gibbs in there. Which way will the bounce favour? Eventually it's Gibbs, but he can't pick it up. Now Mandemaker snaps around his body. There's no one home. Duthie makes up valuable meterage. And it's a minor score. So the Dogs looking pretty good on 2-1. The Bay still haven't scored.
Just as that shot went forward, Greg Smith is disgusted because he was breaking free just alongside Mandemaker. Didn't receive the ball, however.
Gibbs kicks the ball back into play and finds West in that back pocket, deep in defence, towards centre wing. Stringer setting himself. Oh, good mark in front, though, taken by Thomas, who is playing on Stringer. It'll be an interesting duel. Thomas goes short. Chaplin was unmarked. Chaplin goes around and looking for Bubner. Knocked away from him. Good defensive work. Picked up by Lally. Here's a chance now for Central District as he goes deep into attack. Big Rudy Mandemaker. Chaplin. Long kick. That's a lovely kick by Chaplin. That's a goal. 3 goals, 1 Central District. 19 points. Glenelg yet to score.
Well, that's the first goal to young Gavin Chaplin. An impressive braver. We saw him in the first game against North Adelaide out at Elizabeth. But once again, good strong work by the Central District forward, prepared to get up with the ball, work hard to win it, give it to the player in the right spot. Chaplin didn't let them down. That's 3 goals, 1, 19. Glenelg yet to score.
As we can see, that breeze going across the ground, but it's definitely favouring the southern end. which is the direction the Dogs are kicking. Lounder with a tap down towards Alan Stringer. Gilbert McAdam tries to weave his way. That has to be holding the ball, and that's the way it's adjudicated. Tony Simon. You see that ball just pulling up a little bit. That's a good mark taken by Peter Maynard. Maybe too far out. It's not a bad kick as he drives that one in long. Butterick from behind. Couldn't take it. Botka in there. Hits the ball, picks it up again. Now eventually gets it out to Chaplin, the man that kicked the last goal. He's a clever player. He's been a real find for the Dogs. Out to Scott Lee. The 87 fairest and best and fairest, I should say, winner for the Central side. Carey dropped that and has paid the penalty as the free kick will go to Van Dommel for being held. Seabohm, good mark in opposition to Ingerson.
Seabohm and Ingerson, that too will be an interesting duel and a very important one. And Seabohm from centre half back out wide to that outer wing. Simon's in front of McAdam. And Simon's looking up forward for Leeds. Just the kick. It's found Butterick. And Butterick at right half forward, or between the wing and right half forward. Little short pass. Snubikler, well, he missed that, and he went to pick up. And there'll be a ball up in that right forward pocket for Glenelg. Good crowd here at the Bay. An enormous crowd. Plenty of umbrellas up at the moment. And no doubt we'll get a sprinkle of rain. In fact, it may be just starting to drizzle now as I speak. McDermott gets a handball out, quick as a flash. Back into full forward. Graham working hard. Looking for Thomas, but it went past him. Alan Stringer made a rare mistake. McAdam. Good play by Central District. Smith, unchecked. Now a chance, and the Bulldogs on the march again now as Chaplin goes short, and it's a lovely pass to Lally. And Lally has it about 45, 50 metres out, and he's on a slight angle. And immediately Bubner goes back to the square, and so does big Rudy Mandemaker, but he doesn't go to either of those two. He goes into that right forward pocket, and he's found Ingerson.
That's poor work by the Bay defence, John. It shouldn't be left to big Peter Carey to be cutting off those leads. The run-on players should be dropping back there to cut off the short passes.
Exactly right, but with Mandemaker, Bubner and Ingerson all there and all prepared to work, they've got plenty of options to kick to.
There's Ingerson's kick, and it's a lovely kick. And what a great start for young Ingerson of Central District. Anthony Ingerson kicks his first goal. It's Central District's fourth, and they're 4 goals, 1. Glenelg yet to score.
Well, Ingerson has had 3 or 4 very good touches there at centre half forward. He looks a very composed player when he does go and meet the ball, and he uses it well with that left foot of his. He's placed a couple of nice balls for Rudy Mandemaker, and that time, as we mentioned, Central's got options up forward. They've got Bubner up there, they've got Mandemaker, and they've got young Ingerson, as well as a lot of ground players that are working very, very hard to get the use of that ball. And Ingerson then was the option that was used. A good lead, good pass, good goal.
Well, they're breaking down in the engine room, and that's the centre square. Carey has to get that organised. Lownder's getting his hand to the ball, though, as he does again. It's a big thump away. Salisbury in there. Corns would be hoping that Scott Salisbury's desperation can turn around this slow start, as we've had 16.5 minutes and it's 4-1 to nothing. Down towards Hodgeman. Goes to Chaplin. Once again, it'll be Michael Abbott to bounce. A few metres away from that centre circle. Carey won that tap nicely, but put it straight down to Scott Lee. Lounder in there again, working hard. Van Dommel, the captain, weaves his way out of the pack. Now tap back again towards Van Dommel. He gets an awkward kick away, but it was a valuable kick as Ingerson drops that over to Smith in turn. Oh, the kick was poor, but it's found Kickett. He has a bounce when he didn't have to. Now handballs out towards Jamie Thomas. He snaps around his body, but the accuracy's not there, and that ball floats out of bounds on the full. A let-off for the Tigers, and a wasted opportunity for the Dogs.
Someone from Jamie Thomas way offline, but just wondering about that, Breeze. Looking at the windsock from time to time, it seems to gust every so often. I think it must be very, very difficult for the Bays to work against at the moment.
This is Gibbs about to put the ball back into play. McDermott led, but he was ignored, and Gibbs goes over McDermott's head, looking for Carey and Seabohm. And Carey's taken a mark out of the air. Good mark, Peter Carey. That'll give him plenty of confidence. He was talking to himself in the centre square earlier, telling himself to get a move on. Scott Lee goes in and bumps very hard with Butterick. Players coming in from everywhere, and a free kick has been sorted out. It's going to Brady. And Salisbury and also...
And the umpire.
The umpire's fallen over as well, and it's pretty rough in there at the moment. Snabikla.
Well, there's been no punches thrown. It's all pushing and shoving. It may appear a little vicious, but there was nothing thrown there. A little bit of slap and tickle, I would suggest.
I think it's Greg Smith on the bottom of the pack.
Yes.
He's there somewhere.
Smith and Salisbury involved. I think there was plenty of slap, not a lot of tickle, as you might suggest there, Kim.
Well, that's what happened.
Oh, no! Well, the umpire's a lot closer than what we are, John, but that looked pretty harmless to me. A bit of pushing and shoving, a little bit of jumper pulling. Well, it certainly pleased the Bay supporters. Scott Salisbury, their local favourite. And there's a big leap from behind by Crispy, but he couldn't take the mark. Maynard snaps away. And after all that commotion, the Bays are finally on the scoreboard at the 19-minute mark of this first term. Central are 4-1, Glenelg 1 point.
So it's pretty fiery all of a sudden. And Botka is waiting for this ball to kick it back into play.
I think it's a game that we could expect at some stage was going to get a bit fiery. There was plenty of pressure happening at the time in this first term, but I'm sure now that this game is really going to liven up.
Botka kicks the ball back into play. Big leap from behind, not successful. Hodgeman will be first there. Thomas in close attendance. Holding on, says the umpire. Hodgeman gets the free kick. So Hodgeman will put this in deep. He's at right half forward at the moment, as the weather is very threatening. Big lead so far to Central District. There's the kick. Christie in front. Tried to juggle the mark. Picked up by Pryor. Gave it across to Graham, and he'll clear for Central District. Out in front of Rowe, the opportunity is for him. Did that pretty well. He's got his body in front and did that exceptionally well, although it went to no one in particular. Seabohm went for the handball. Eventually Central have possession. Not for long, though, because Glenelg kick it back. Here's a chance now for Pryor as he puts it up toward right half forward. Stringer tried to knock it away, and it dribbles out of bounds in the right forward pocket. The boundary throw-in taking place in this right forward pocket for Central District, and we've played almost 20 minutes in the first quarter. It's 4-1 to 1 point. 24 points the difference. Gibbs, high kick, Stringer gets underneath it and takes a safe mark with Van Dommel in close attendance.
Alan Stringer just steadying down play for a moment as he drops that one in straight to his direct opponent, and Jamie Thomas, who couldn't take the mark. Brady's had a very good first term in defence, but that mark's taken by Simon. Plays on quickly to McDermott, who spears out a pass to Hodgeman, and that's better play, more direct football. Hodgeman chips in a pass out towards Butterick, and he takes a nice mark. In fact, it's Christie.
Christie's been threatening down there at full forward. A lot of leaping, getting into the air, making good leads, but it hasn't been able to hold anything thus far. That time a good pass and Hodgeman set him up.
Well, it's going to need a pretty good kick from there. It's about 40, 45 metres out. And that is a minor score, so Glenelg have now 2 points on the board. Central District 4-1, and we've had 21 and a half minutes of this first term.
Pryor on the end of that kick. Now Van Dommel puts it out in front of Sikadic, and that's a good mark too. Took that well. And he plays on quickly. It's Thomas, in fact, 59. Oh, what a mark they're taken by Kickett. Well, he had to stretch every fibre for that one, and he did that very, very impressively. Long kick by Kickett. That is a beautiful kick. It's offline, though. It was long and not accurate. It's a behind. So Central District 4 goals to 26. Glenelg 2 points.
Certainly has some natural talent, Derek Kickett. As Gibbs puts that out towards McDermott, who'll need support. He was brought down to the ground then, so he wins himself a free kick. 22 minutes gone. McDermott struggling with a foot ailment at the moment, which restricts his training during the week. Snabikla in there, trying to break free, and a little bit lucky there. Nabikla pleading to the umpire. I think he should have been happy the way the result was.
He did everything but work a 40-hour week then.
Back on the outer side, umpire Ross Campbell puts the ball to ground. Lounder wins the tap. It's back towards Wayne Stringer, the veteran, or one of the veterans of this Glenelg side. And he's won a free kick for a push in the back. Had a groin operation over the summer months and had to work his way back through the reserves. Great competitor. Up high, Nabikla couldn't take it. Out there is Rowe. Tries Sikadik. Drops one in short. Paid the penalty as Grenvold grabs that and drops it over, and it's a good mark taken by Tim Hodgeman.
Plenty of movement by the very experienced Bay Rover around that half-forward line. He's making himself available, and here's the pass.
Out towards captain, in fact, vice-captain, Chris McDermott. Normally a very reliable kick for goal. It's quite a steady approach to the goal front. Now requesting a 15-metre penalty against Lounder, who ran in front, so technically he was correct in asking for that, but perhaps the umpire using good common sense there. And he's offline, so that's 3 points for the Tigers. They trail now by 23 points, and we're a minute away from time on.
This is Botka. Just tossing up which side to go. Eventually he goes short to the outer side in that back pocket. Lee. It's out a long handball to Sikadik. Back it goes to Lee, and Central District about to get out of trouble. That's a lovely looking kick toward the centre of the ground. Players fly, no one able to take it. Marshall gets a handball. It was too quick though for Nabikla, but he butters up well and does it very well for a big fellow. Goes into the left forward pocket. But here's a real race on at the moment. Christie knocked out of the way by Pryor, and it's out of bounds.
Certainly plenty of commitment from these Central District players. The way Pryor went in hard there against Christie, and that's happening all around the ground, and hence they're leading by 23 points at the moment.
McDermott over the top. Number 4 for Central District is Chaplin, and once again it's out of bounds. Well, if we do get some rain, who's that going to favour of the two sides, John?
Well, in fact, we have had a bit of light rain up to this stage, I think, Mark, and Central obviously doing the better, but if it gets any heavier, I still think they can go on with it.
Yeah, I don't think conditions will really favour either side, and we have had some light rain here. You can see the way the ball is spinning once it hits the ground. Now, there won't be a real lot of time on, I would say probably about 4 minutes. So Glenelg would want to get it in pretty quickly as Maynard drives that long. Butterick big lead from behind. Hodgeman tapped it forward. Players in there working hard. And umpire Michael Abbott will bounce about 20 metres away from the Glenelg goal. Pretty congested down there too. Christie opposed to Brady. Christie got it down well to Hodgeman. He lost his footing, and in fact, oh, now that's a lucky one because Hodgeman slipped and the tackle was applied.
First quarter, Carey and Lounder. Out of the centre it comes. Bounce favoured Chaplin, but he couldn't pick up. Eventually Smith does it pretty well, gave it to Chaplin. Running through his Pryor, and he was knocked over very heavily there. Number 35 for Central District. He's still on the ground. And will he get up? We're not sure because plays with Maynard. He goes into the forward pocket. Plenty of Central District players there. One of them was Brady. He was held without the ball. Pryor is up.
Gee, that was a great bump. It was a fair bump. Was that Salisbury or Stringer?
I think it was Stringer, but certainly nothing wrong with it.
No, it was a beautiful hip and shoulder.
He looks okay, just a bit winded, and wouldn't he be? I felt that from up here. Play back on centre wing. Big Carey leaping, punched away by Kickett. Good defensive play. Out it comes to Maynard, over the top of his head. Van Dommel with a high kick. McAdam.
Oh, I've just seen the most unbelievable sight ever after Maynard, a rather soft attempt to grab that ball. Corns has walked out of the bunker and has thrown the spare football at Peter Maynard, and that's disgusting for a coach to do. That's an atrocious piece of behaviour.
I don't think Maynard could believe it.
He couldn't. He turned around and gave him a mouthful. That was unbelievable.
Well, I have a funny feeling he's about to be taken off the ground.
Well, I'd take Corns off. You don't chuck a football at a player. How humiliating.
And he's having a few more words.
What a lack of control by a coach. Unbelievable.
Now, this will be very interesting indeed. And
well, we might stay with him, actually. That's unbelievable. Corns has come out of the bunker and thrown a football at Peter Maynard. Now they're exchanging words. Now, I don't think, fair enough, Corns had right to be upset. Maynard should have gone for that ball stronger and taken possession, but by crikey, I wouldn't be happy if I was Maynard either. Anyway, that ends the first term. Glenelg 1-3, Central 4-2. And it's still going. Hodgeman tries to break it up, and I tell you what, the coach is as much to blame there. You've got to call a spade a spade.
They are still going.
He's got every right to have a go at him. I know that you've got to respect the coach's decision, but Graham Corns, out of order.
Pretty strong words, Kim.
Well, you can only call it as you see it, and it does sound a bit stronger when you hear it back, but honestly, that's just, to me, it's inexcusable. He genuinely was, he obviously was frustrated, and he lost control, like, I'm sure, and I'm sure that Graham will probably, I would imagine that he would apologise to Peter afterwards or whenever, but I'm damn sure that he wouldn't appreciate it being humiliated like that if a coach jumped out of the bunker and threw a football at him when he was playing. That was amazing.
Have you ever seen that before? Anything like that?
Never in my life. I've seen it quarter time and whatever. Coaches and players confront each other and have words and maybe poke each other and everything like that, but to actually jump out and throw a football at anything, that was a first.
Well,
it really was.
I missed him throwing the football at Peter Maynard, but well, we certainly didn't miss him Maynard having a few words to Graham. He was very vocal, wasn't he?
He did, and it was interesting to see at that time how Peter would respond afterwards, but he got on with the job and he played quite a useful game.
Yeah, an amazing thing, amazing to see something like that in a football game. You don't hear of that too often. Let's now cross back to the Bay Oval for the commencement of the second term.
We'll have a look at that for a torpedo punt to the centre of the ground, thumped on by Stringer, but obviously wasn't aware there was no one behind him, and Chaplin picks up the crumbs, and he's easily the best rover on the ground at this stage. Stringer back into the pack. Ingerson lost his footing. Seabohm, handball out towards McDermott. Long handball to Alan Stringer. He's got an absolute paddock. He thought about touching the ball on the ground, decides to drive long out to Hodgeman. Good spoil by Scottley. Winton threw that one back. That had to be a throw. Back to Hodgeman. Hodgeman drives towards goal, and he's posted his second goal, so he's kicked both majors for the Tigers. I think that was pretty lucky because Winton threw that one out to him. Glenelg 2-3, the Dogs 4-3.
Well, we'll leave everybody to make their own decision on that one, but it certainly appeared that Jeff Winton, after running into all sorts of trouble, tossed that ball out one-handed. Kim Hodgeman happened to be in the right place, but Kim Hodgeman, to his credit, the very experienced champion, is doing well and has kicked both of Glenelg's goals.
Well, we don't have the advantage of action replay here, so it'll be good to watch that in the late-night replay tonight.
I think you were sitting on the fence then, John Robinson. Out of the centre it comes. Here's a chance for Stringer. Stringer gets out a quick handball to Glenelg, and Glenelg on the march again up toward left half forward. Beats most players. Graham is working in there hard. Over the top is Winton. Picked up by Pryor. Oh, players right over the top of them. Lally is one of them. Winton goes in again hard, and it'll be a ball up at left half forward.
Hard pressure, still the name of the game out here at the Bay Oval at the moment, but it's Central who are just overcoming that pressure a bit better.
Smith's kick forward, found Van Dommel. And Van Dommel about to take this kick, and he goes for a left footer towards centre half forward. Gibbs read that beautifully and took a mark on his chest. Gibbs about to run this ball out of defence, put it towards centre wing in front of Stringer. That's Wayne Stringer. And here they go again, the Bays. They're looking a little more impressive. Not sure what Corn said to them at quarter time. Butterick couldn't take that mark. Kick off the ground, play on. And Van Dommel on the end of that kick. Smith, out wide he goes. McAdam, despite Simons holding on to him, took the mark. And he will put Central District into attack from that centre wing.
Gilbert McAdam's been a real find for the Dogs. Virtually just walked into the club looking for a game. That's well smothered by Salisbury off the boot of Van Dommel. He's tackled without possession, didn't get a free kick. Now out to McDermott, in turn to Alan Stringer. In fact, Salisbury, his kick there, Maynard there, from behind is Brad. He's having a great game at centre-half back. He's clearly beating Snebickler, but he's lost the football. Now Maynard, the controversial Peter Maynard, over towards Snebickler, in turn over towards Christie. He got beat the ball, but he was too slow. Out of bounds on the full.
Well, enormous pressure once again by this Central District side. They just would not let up when they looked all, put the glasses down. Glenelg were in for a goal, but they just kept at them.
Scott Lee out to Pryor. from the back pocket, looking for Graham, but it goes over his head, and Van Dommel has it. Oh, well smothered there by Wayne Stringer. McDermott now. Short pass, Maynard again, and he will go back and no doubt have a good look at these goals. He's got Butterick in the square, and also Christie, but Maynard pretty confident of kicking this. His side is 2 goals, 3-15. Central are 4-3-27. And this would be a handy goal. This would bring back the margin to 6 points. The kick on its way. It's a pretty good kick by Maynard. It's straight through the middle. And a very important goal to Glenelg. They go to 3 goals, 3-21. And Central District, 4 goals, 3-27.
Well, Central District led by 17 points in quarter time. In the second term, Central have only managed to add 1 point, and Glenelg have added 2 goals, so perhaps that breeze is having a definite effect.
Slippery conditions here at the Bay. Carey not having much influence on the game at this stage. Oh, McDermott taken out with a forearm jolt under the chin. Smith not happy. That's undisciplined. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the runner comes out now for that passage of play. And out he comes, out of the bunker in a flash. Curley not happy. Not good football, Greg Smith. Have a look at him. He'll earn his $1 today. The back of the pack, Christie! Oh, and that's rubbed salt into the wound. Greg Smith, how do you feel? Undisciplined, 15 metres, and the Bays get a quick goal to tie scores away here at the Glenelg Oval. And Smith has been dragged. Well, Neil Curley doesn't muck around.
Well, that's what you call discipline. You can't do those sorts of things, especially not when a side's on a roll. And Gary Christie's just picked up his first goal to make the difference, well, to tie the scores away. So 17 points down at quarter time, 7 minutes later, and it's all tied away.
I'd hate to be... Oh, he's gone straight down into the change rooms, apparently, so I'd hate to be down in the change rooms at the moment.
Well, I don't think anyone will be there, Mark. I think he may have got the salt, so that's not good.
It'll be pretty lonely down there. Here they go again, the Bays. Plenty of Central District players around the fall of the ball, though. Lally caught one high, should get a free kick. And Stringer, that was pretty disciplined, actually. He didn't go on with it. Lally from half-back. Picks it up toward Ingerson. Oh, he tried to juggle that, not paid. There's a chance for Grenville, gave it across to Gibbs. Carey, who fumbled. Just not having a great game at the moment, Peter Carey. But he's got himself a free kick, or is it going to Gibbs? No, it'll go to Carey.
John Robinson, have you seen anything like this? We've seen undisciplined footballers, undisciplined coaches. It's been a real mixed bag today, I tell you.
Well, it's a game that promised everything, but certainly not the couple of incidents that we've seen between Corns and Maynard, and now Smith spitting the dummy and down the change room.
So as long as we're not told off. Anyway, into the right forward pocket it goes. Oh, Butterick's taken a mark. He plucked that from the top of the pack. Now it's going to Simons. Tell me why, Kim. Push. Yep.
But out of all this, I think you'll find that the Bays have settled down. There's a bit of silly stuff there to happen. They've settled down. They're going with the footy. Admittedly, they've got the advantage of this breeze at the moment, but, well, this is a kick to put them in front.
Important kick by Simons. Just started across from the left-hand side, and that's the way it goes. It went through for a behind, and they take the lead now. Glenelg, 4 goals, 4-28. Central District, 4 goals, 3-27.
The ball to be brought in by Botka. Kicks to the grandstand side. Carey lurking. Butterick at the front. From behind, though, was Alan Stringer. Snared that nicely with his right hand. Round the body to Hodgeman. Tried to weave his way through. Taps it forward. Oh, it's gone through the legs of Sikadic. But Snabikla, not having a big day at this stage, has kicked that one out of bounds on the full. We've had 10 minutes. 4-4. The Bays, 28. Lead Central, 4-3, 27. And this has been absolutely entertaining football. Tremendous. Philip Graham. Oh, Lounder. That's how easy it is. You have to put one of those big baseball mitts up there and catch it. Out towards Kickett. Edged. Oh, strong mark. That's a great mark. Looked like he'd been edged under that by Grenville. Gave it over to Lally. Lally's taken out of it. Gets the kick away. Jamie Thomas is a good mark in opposition to Salisbury.
Thomas about to put this deep into attack. He goes across the face of goal, and Lee is unattended. He's got himself into trouble, Lee, and he surely must go for holding the ball. No play on. Lally, and he lost it completely. Gibbs just stole it from him, and the umpire's given a free kick away. It's going the way of Central District.
Good.
You can tell by the crowd they don't like it, and Roger Girdham, who's only been on the field for a couple of minutes when Smith was dragged, is about 45 metres out. Now, Jamie Thomas is coming off the ground. For what reason, we're not sure.
It's Van Dommel.
Oh, Van Dommel, I am sorry.
Smith's back on, so no doubt he would have been given the message. He's played enough football to know what he did wrong anyway.
There's Girdham's kick. Just going to fall short. Lally tried to read it off the pack, picked up by Bubner, running away from goal, and then has Smith, who's been on the ground for about a second after being dragged earlier, and he gets the cheerios from the crowd. He's about in exactly the same spot as Girdham, virtually straight in front, and an opportunity to put a goal on the board. A much-needed one by Central District. They're 4-3 at the moment. Glenelg 4-4. There's Smith's kick. It's not a good one. Drifting across the face. Packed ply high. No one able to take it. Kicked off the ground, and it's a behind.
Well, all sorts of goings on out here. As you mentioned, Kim, in the second term, there's players on and off and down the change rooms and having football thrown at them. Absolutely amazing game of football, but despite all that, what's happening out on the ground is really good, entertaining stuff.
Oh, it is. It's tremendous. It's a great game. There's nothing surer than that, but I don't want to harp on. I've never seen a coach throw a football at a player. Unbelievable. Out towards Seabone, one of the great negators of the game. He's had his hands full with Ingerson. Out towards Maynard, over the head of that player. Brady taps it forward. He's looking for that boundary line. Pushes it forward, and that was good play by the centre-half back. Been a pretty useful acquisition to the club. Girdham off the ground, Van Dommel back on. So Curley making plenty of moves. Brady got the tap down towards Chaplin. He's gone a bit quiet the last 10 minutes, but he's held without possession.
Has gone a bit quiet, Kim, hasn't he? But he's a very good little rover.
Been a real find for the Dogs. Drives that one down over the head of Kickett. Back there is Ingerson, and so too is Kickett. We'll have it thrown on that left forward flank, the northern end. 12 and a half minutes gone, 4-4-28. The Tigers, and so too are the Bulldogs. Carey, edge Lounder underneath that one. Gave away the free kick. The big fella super, he's dropping back to the last line of defence. Will he get there in time? He's made front position, but he couldn't take the mark. Mandemaker. Duthie. Gilbert McAdam one way, then the other. He had support. He didn't opt there. He could have used Jamie Thomas. Should have used Jamie Thomas, should I say. Oh, that's not a goal, is it? Oh, you're joking. That's unbelievable. Rudy Mandemaker has kicked his second from about 2 centimetres away from the white line.
Well, what can you say? That's the sort of goal there that, as we've described earlier, these Central District forwards are fighting hard whenever they get an opportunity. They don't want to waste them. They wouldn't let that ball out there. Then it was roaming around. Rudy Maker kept hard at his job, finally towed it through for the major score.
And well done, Rudy Mandemaker, because he was on an angle. Back in the centre. Lounder wins it down. Not effectively, though. Simons is knocked out of the way by Kickett. Bays have possession at the moment. Wayne Stringer copped one pretty high there.
Well, he copped a nasty one, Mark, but he certainly ducked his head as well.
So Stringer now goes to the outer side of the ground looking for McDermott and finds him. Good mark. Smith all over the top of McDermott at the moment. Plays on. Stringer. Well, he got caught. McDermott was there luckily for him. In they go again, the Bays. Big Peter Carey feeds out a handball to Marshall. Marshall around his body. Play held up in that left forward pocket. It's 5-4, plays 4-4. 6 points the difference.
And Craig Brady there certainly appealing for a holding the ball decision. He reckons that guy wasn't trying to get rid of it at all.
Players go for it. Carey. It's out another handball. McDermott. Oh, lovely kick by McDermott. That's a goal. So a good retaliatory goal by Glenelg. 5-4, 34, plays 5-4, 34. Bubner coming off. Girdham about to go back on.
Certainly wholesale interchanges taking place there, Mark, but that goal to Chris McDermott, that's his first of the game. Another one of the Bays, so it's keeping goal for goal at the moment. 5 goal, 4 apiece at what the 15-minute mark of this second term, and it's a very absorbing game of football.
And that mightn't be a bad move by Curley. The big men at both ends of the ground struggling to take clean marks. in these slippery conditions, and Salisbury works his way through then over to Hodgeman, in turn to Christie. Christie drives it in long. Carey's having a rest. There's a minor score. And I thought that just possibly maybe Graham Corns may consider doing the same to get Nick Chigwidden on, because there's no big marks being taken down there.
Well, there has been that little bit of light rain falling for most of the game so far. The ball's a bit slippery, so it's on the ground by a lot of the players.
Thomas goes across to Scott Lee, and Lee goes wider still onto the outer side of the ground. McAdam and Graham, and also Simons, and Simons is content to let the ball run out of bounds. Very overcast, and it's threatening to rain pretty heavily actually, but as John said, it's just been raining lightly for most of the game. Kim Hodgeman gets a handball out, and Stringer was met pretty heavily there by Chaplin. And Stringer taking a while to get up. So it's been rough in patches, but overall it's been very entertaining football. And Stringer taking plenty of time here, as the rain is just coming down a little stronger, a little heavier. 5-5 plays 5-4. 1 point the difference. The Bays lead. Stringer short. Winton. And he's up some 15 metres closer and would be 45 metres out.
He's in a little bit of trouble, Alan Stringer. Certainly not feeling 100%.
And Winton. Chance to put Glenelg 7 points in front. There's his kick. Lovely looking kick by Winton. That was a spectacular kick. Another goal to the Bays. Glenelg 6 goals 5. 41. Central 5-4. 34, and we've played 17 minutes in this second term.
And the second term has been dominated by the Bays. They've added 5 goals too so far. Central only 1 goal too. So hence their dominance in this term, as Central had in the first term. In fact, what a great kick from Jeff Winton with the aid of the breeze. A good 50-odd metres.
Christie doing the ruck work straight down to Alan Stringer. Intercepted by Kickett. Took a bounce, chased his arm, then punched that one out towards Chaplin. His pass was low to Girdham. Kept his body over the ball well, though. Got it out towards Van Dommel, who in turn has found Seabohm. In there is Girdham, working very hard, so he's pretty keen to impress out there. Great commitment to the ball. 18 minutes gone. 41 plays 34 in favour of the Tigers. And there's been action aplenty. That was a very small bounce, that one. Doothy thumps it towards the boundary line. Well, Alan Stringer appears to be okay now. There's been some good hard clashes out there today. Mark Pryor went down very solidly at one stage there, and Scott Salisbury has kicked that one out of bounds on the full as it's juggled in the crowd.
Was it a mark?
Well, if you pay him off 5 different hands, I suppose we'd have to pay that one.
Play on decision.
Greg Smith also been involved in a little bit of controversy this afternoon. Just dropped that one into Lally. Not a lot of movement. Puts it up high. Mandemaker from behind. Kick it also up high. Ball smothered. Picked up there. Oh, well tackled. Now it's cleared by Wayne Stringer, and it found John Schneebichler. He takes a strong chest mark. Brady looking for the free kick. Umpires won't buy into that one. The kick is speared out to Butterick, the man that's taken more marks in South Australia than any other player. Been a little bit quiet today. Winton wants it short. Maynard wants it long. So too does Carey. See players struggling to control that football. Picked up by the raging bull in Jeff Winton, but couldn't keep control.
Certainly has a dynamic.
Good performance there by Glenelg in the second half of the game. 12 goals, 10-82. They defeated Central. 7 goals, 7-49. Interesting statistics. 6 goals, 6 they were at half-time. Glenelg, 42 points. Central were 5 goals, 5-35. And from that point on, Glenelg kicked 6 goals and Central District kicked just 2 goals. Hodgeman kicked 4 for the match. Maynard, McDermott and Winton kicked 2 each. And for Central District, Ingerson kicked 3 at centre-half forward and Mandemaker kicked 2. After the match, John Robinson spoke with a record-breaking Peter Carey.
Well, Peter, congratulations on your, number of games. The record today must have been a tremendously proud moment for you.
Oh, it's fantastic. You know, the way the boys battled the game out and to go away comfortably was fantastic. After being in trouble in the first quarter, I think all rallied and all put in for the whole game, and it was fantastic. I was proud of every one of them.
And I'm sure they're very proud of you too, Pete. But yeah, 17 points down at quarter time. You certainly did it well since then. In fact, over the final 3 terms, you added some 11-goal 7 to Central 3-goal 5.
Yeah, I thought we controlled the game pretty well after quarter time, and it was just by the work. You know, the conditions were pretty sloppy, but we just were at the bottom of the pack working all day, and it was a fantastic effort.
You did handle the conditions particularly well. You seemed to be the one side that, as you say, controlled things, but had the ability to break away when you needed to.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's just a matter of having numbers around the ball, and, you know, I think we had them after quarter time, and you've got outnumber the opposition all the time, you're bound to win more than you lose.
2 players in particular I thought had a good influence for you was Hodgeman all day up forward, and also Chig Whitten when he came on. They were 2 players low to the ground who won a lot of valuable touches.
Oh, Hodgie's been a fantastic player over a number of years, and yeah, I know how keen he was to do well in this one, and he was always a danger up forward. You know, he's a fantastic little player. And Chiggy really gave us some fire after half-time. His tear-away effort, he burrows in, gets the ball, tears away, and I think he lifted all of us after half-time.
Well, Peter, I think you appear as though you've lost a little bit of weight. You looked a bit trim out there today. Certainly seemed very, very keen.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. You know, if we could keep having wins like this every week, I'd probably play forever, I think.
Well, the side is certainly performing well. You are the form side at the moment. It's a long season, we all know. How do you see it from here?
Yeah, we just got to keep plugging away, taking it week by week. You know, we're probably on top after today, so it's a nice position to be at this time of the year. We were 6th or 7th last year, but we certainly can't get carried away. There's 15 minor round or 16 minor round games to go in the final, so there's still a lot of the season left, and we've just got to keep improving from here on in.
Thanks, Peter. Congratulations once again on your great record, and all the best for the best of the year.
Thanks very much, John.
Well done, Peter Carey. Do you think he'll pay 500 or not?
I reckon he's a pretty good chance to do that this season, and he could probably get, depends on injuries, I suppose, but obviously his enthusiasm's there, and I would imagine that Glenelg going to be up around the top for a while to come yet. So it wouldn't surprise me. It'd be great if he could.
He played that down a bit when John Robinson mentioned that he'd lost weight, but Peter did tell me on Thursday he's lost 1.5 stone.
Yes, well, I didn't really pick it up until you mentioned it during the game, and he does look pretty trim and in good nick at the moment, and that can only help his cause carrying less weight.
We've already mentioned it. He was a bit quiet early, wasn't he? But he really picked his game up in the second half.
When the pressure was on that 3rd term, he gained some valuable touches, and that's where they gained the ascendancy. But Lowndes' first half was pretty good. He managed to get his hand to the ball all the time, and in fact, that first quarter, he was allowing guys like Chaplin, who had a great first term, you know, established that advantage in the first term, and it really did happen around the centre, and Peter just couldn't get his hand to the ball. But, you know, that came down to the running players as well. You know, Central were first to the ball in that first quarter. That's why they got 4 goals on the board. Very briefly, where did Central lose that match? Well, it's probably hard to say where they lost it. It's just Glenelg managed to pick up the pieces after a slow start, and, you know, it's hard, they just didn't seem to move the ball as effectively, and a good point was when Chig Whitten came onto the ground, wet conditions, low to the ground, he gave him a bit of bite, but as we mentioned, they're a very good side, Glenelg, and it's no disgrace to go down to Glenelg at the Bay. Good performance by Glenelg, and they're now on top of the league ladder.